Percy. In 1925, British explorer Percy Harrison Fawcett, his son Jack, and his friend Raleigh Rimmel
walked into the Mato Grosso jungle of Brazil.
And vanished forever. For decades, the world has asked, what happened to them? Vipers, disease, a hostile tribe.
But ChronoMythLab believes we've all been asking the wrong question. The real mystery isn't where Fawcett's story ended. It's where it began.
This is a 200-year-old true crime story centered on a single document. What was in these 10 pages that could convince a brilliant man to sacrifice his life and his son's?
To decode Fawcett's end, we must first decode this document's beginning.
Its story starts not in 1925, but in 1839 at the Brazilian Historical Museum.
A librarian stumbled upon a rotting manuscript, lost in a public collection.
It was titled, Historical Relation of a Hidden, Great, Ancient City.
Without inhabitants, that was discovered in the year 1753. Manuscript 512 is a 10-page report written by a group of bandeirantes, Portuguese treasure hunters.
They claimed to have found an abandoned stone city, and we saw in the distance a great mountain range, glittering like crystal.
Approaching, we saw it was a great city. Its entrance formed by 3 immense arches. They described wide streets, strange statues, and at the center, a colossal black stone pillar.
And here was the most important detail.
On the corners of the city, it read, were carved mysterious letters. They did not resemble any known writing.
Analyzed linguistic structures against historical scripts.
And this single detail sealed Fawcett's fate.
To most, this was a fantasy, but to Fawcett, a believer in lost civilizations like Atlantis and mystical doctrines,
These letters were proof.
He didn't believe native Amazonians capable of such a city. To him, this was proof of a white, pre-indigenous civilization.
an outpost of Atlantis. He gave it the name that would become immortal, the Lost City of Z. The cartographers of 1920 understood the vastness of Brazil, but the true dangers lay hidden beneath the jungle canopy.
And this is where the case turns tragic.
We must understand, Percy Fawcett was a brilliant surveyor, respected by the Royal Geographical Society. He was not a fool.
But he made a fatal error.
Maps 5 of 12, real. Yes, real.
But where did Fawcett search? He searched in Mato Grosso.
Over 2,000 kilometers to the west.
In one of the densest, most unexplored, and perilous jungle regions on Earth.
Why the deadly discrepancy? Because Fawcett wasn't just following Manuscript 512, he was combining it with his own theories.
He believed Z was part of a network, influenced by strange lights over Mato Grosso, and perhaps by the trauma of World War I.
Fawcett was no longer an objective surveyor. He was a true believer. The parchment trembles, mirroring my soul. Z must be here. I can almost touch the truth hidden within these lines.
He had taken a ghost story and turned it into a treasure map. He chose to believe the document was describing a place where he wanted it to be, not where it actually said.
So, what was Manuscript 512, really? Was it a hoax?
Unlikely. It's too detailed. The Bandeirantes probably did find something.
Theory 1. They exaggerated. They found a few interesting rocks and embellished it into a Greek city, hoping for a reward. Theory 2. They found a natural geological formation, like Seta Cidades National Park.
A compelling comparison between the modern photograph and the 18th century manuscript reveals the enduring landscape of Seta Cidades.
But whatever they saw, it certainly wasn't a marble Atlantean city. And most importantly, I knew her. It wasn't in Mato Grosso.
Utilizing advanced LiDAR technology, we can now visualize the hyper-detailed wireframe of the rainforest canopy in unprecedented clarity.
But here is the most tragic and ironic twist in the entire story.
Fawcett was wrong about Manuscript 512, but he was right about the Amazon. This orbital scan captures the unbelievable scale of the network. A vast, high-tech wire.
For a century, academia mocked Fawcett, insisting the Amazon was a green desert incapable of supporting urban societies.
Now, LiDAR technology, lasers that see through the trees, is proving the madman was right.
Right in the Xingu region, where Fawcett vanished, archaeologists have found the ruins of Kuhikugu.
Not a single stone city, but a cluster of 20 towns, connected by wide roads, with plazas and moats.
A true urban civilization, which thrived until European diseases wiped it out. This is the tragedy of Percy Fawcett.
He was a Columbus of the Amazon, a brilliant theorist who saw the truth 100 years early.
He was standing right on top of one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of the 20th century.
But he couldn't see it.
He wasn't looking for an indigenous city of earth and wood. He was looking for a fantasy.
An Atlantean stone city, described in a misleading 200-year-old document.
Fawcett didn't succumb to the jungle. He succumbed to a story.
He was the final victim of Manuscript 512 itself.
And the question ChronoMythLab leaves you with is, what if Percy Fawcett's journey wasn't a failure because he found nothing, but because he found a real civilization and refused to accept it? Because it didn't match the fairy tale he'd staked his life to believe?